what's up? Happy Monday. We switched this call from our regular team call Tuesdays till tonight, Monday, May 22nd, so that we could have a special guest speaker on. First, I wanted to come on and talk about a couple things that are happening that are super, super exciting. So today we made Beachbody history in the way that I don't know what that noise is. Sorry about that. I see some people hopping on. Yay, sorry about the last minute change. Oh my goodness, stop this. Hold on one second, you guys, just making sure I can get this. Hang on for 1 second with me. Just making sure we can get our guest speaker on. 1 second. Just 1 second, you guys are having some technical difficulties, so hang tight and I will be right back while I figure this out. I don't know what is going on. Can anyone hear me? Okay, good. You guys can hear me, which is good. Just hang tight for 1 minute. Okay, I think I figured it out. I'm here though. So today we made Beachbody history. We announced that we are going international to the UK starting in the fall of 2017. We don't have an exact date yet, but just to give you guys a little bit of a perspective of what that means for us and for the business, I want you guys to really think of it in a leader sort of way. If you guys think of it objectively, you know, a lot of the excuse that we hear from prospects, from current coaches, from people in the network is that Beachbody is saturated. Everybody knows a Beachbody coach, there's not enough people to help, blah, blah, blah. First of all, that excuse is crap, as you guys have heard me say a million times. However, now is legitimate crap. We are literally opening to an entirely new country. No one has had a Beachbody coach. No one knows what Beachbody coaching is. This is the chance to quote unquote get in on the ground floor. I did a live video today on my Facebook page about how everyone says, I wish I knew now what I knew then. And I want you guys to think about this international launch in a different type of way. What if we were in a time before Starbucks? And I told you right now, I said, soon in 10 years, there is going to be a Starbucks on every single corner of every single street in the world. And you looked at me and said, absolutely not. Drive-through coffee is not going to be a thing. And I said, listen, this is insider trading. I'm telling you right now, you have the ability to start a Starbucks. I will tell you exactly how to start it. And in 10 years, you will be a millionaire. This is legitimately what is happening with Beachbody. I am telling you right now that you are in on the ground floor, and in 10 years, it is going to be like a Starbucks in every single country, in every single street on the world. Right now is the time to hustle. Right now is the time to stop the excuses, to start talking to people like they are legitimate business people. And this opening of this new entity is a legit business strategy. So this is very exciting for us, especially with the position that we hold in the network. This should be probably one of the most exciting times for us. What does this mean for you right now, today in your business? It means number one, we stop with the excuses and we hit Success Club this month. That's small, right? I know that it can seem like a big bear, like it can seem like, oh my gosh, we have so many things to do. That's overwhelming, a whole new country. How do we get there? How do we market? How do we talk to people? How do we expand our network? Yes, I totally get that. However, we do that by starting small and tangible and simple right now. We simply expand our network every single month, hitting Success Club, bringing new people into your business, new people into your energy, new people getting tied to the products, and expanding our market from there. Of course, there'll be more trainings, more information, more stuff to come on dates, etc. But let's start small now. Let's get in on the ground floor. You guys are in such an excellent position if you're already signed up to be a coach, but you have to work with me, or else I'm telling you right now, think of if you're ever boogie boarding or surfing, or if you've ever watched anybody boogie board or surf, when a wave is coming, if you just sit there, nothing will happen. But you have to paddle before the wave, right? If you're paddling, that's how you catch a wave. But if you're just sitting out there on your boogie board, or you're just sitting out there on your surfboard, one of two things is going to happen. You're going to miss the wave, or you're going to get pummeled by the wave, right? Nobody wants that to happen, especially not on this team. So those are some of the announcements that we have. Yay, Josh, you got on. Some technical difficulties were happening to you. We have an awesome guest speaker tonight. So to give you guys a little bit of a background on Josh and I actually hired, I don't think I can unmute you, but okay. I hired Josh to be my personal coach, a push coach, but I see a lot more value in bringing him to you guys, because I know that I could say the same thing to you a million times. You'd be like, yeah, Bon, whatever. But if I bring someone who can so eloquently put something that is far removed from our team, that doesn't benefit from our success, that doesn't have anything tied to the business of Beachbody, I know that it can speak directly to your soul and get you out of your heads. So I asked Josh, instead of just having him and I on the phone, I asked him if he would trade that to come on this team call today, because I really want you guys to realize that right now is the best time to break out of that shell and really push forward in your business. So tonight he's going to lay it on, and he can take it away whenever.
Awesome. My apologies for being late. Now it's feeding back. I'm going to have to listen to my own voice. Oh, it's good. It's good. For those of you that follow me very closely, you know that technical difficulties are like, it's got to be like part of my brand or something like that. My first webinar that I ever hosted for like everybody, everyone was welcome. We broke the internet and I had to set up a Google Hangout, having never done it before. Do you remember your very first time setting up a Google Hangout, Bonnie? Like the first time is like chaos, right? Because Google is like, you got to install this, you need to have this plugin, which is what just happened to me, because I took my computer, got it repaired, the whole hard freaking whatever got wiped. And so I'm thinking, hop on Google Hangouts, because now all it takes is clicking a link, right? Well, not when you don't have anything installed on your computer. You got to go install the freaking plugins and everything. So here I am again, screwing up hardcore when it comes to tech. I've joked before about literally hiring someone anytime I'm on a call, anytime I have anything, to just come, sit down, set everything up, and then I'll just sit in a chair and take over, so that it's like when I touch buttons, bad things happen. But anyways, thanks for having me on, Bonnie. I appreciate it. I love Bonnie's energy. It gets me pumped. It gets me excited. So it's great to get on a call and have someone that knows how to open it, that kind of can get the energy started for me, because usually I kind of have to start it from scratch, which is totally cool. But Bonnie just goes there. She just takes it to that level, and then I just get to continue it. So I'm excited to hang out with all of you guys tonight. I have no idea. I'm sure there's a chat or something somewhere that I probably can't see. Let's see here. Can I chat? Boom, there it is. Has anybody chatted yet?
No, I'll send you there's a chat on the actual live YouTube, but I'll send it to you and see.
Dang it. And see, this is why I hate Google Hangout. I'm too ADD to keep up with 2 locations. Anyways, okay. Well, we'll just roll with it then, because I can't be looking all over the place. Bonnie can fill me in on what the heck you guys have to say a little bit later, okay? Because I swear I'll get so distracted, I'll be gone. But tonight, I'm going to talk to you about focus, okay? The end of being overwhelmed. How many people, even though I can't see the chat, I want you to comment anyways, okay? How many, throw up an emoji if you have ever felt overwhelmed. Throw up your favorite emoji. Some of you might need to throw up 10, 20, 30 emojis for all the times you felt overwhelmed, right? Because business can be really, really, really overwhelming. Guys, business, it's not checkers, okay? It's not checkers. We're not playing checkers here. We're not playing Chutes and Ladders or whatever the frick board game you played as a little kid. I'm really old, so I don't even know if those games exist anymore. Whatever. I finally have a beard and finally look my age, because I used to look like I was 22, even though I'm 33. I finally look my age, I think. But here's the thing, is business can be overwhelming. Yes, 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 yes. It's one of the number one excuses we hear. Probably the number one excuse we hear is I'm not motivated. How do I get motivated? Probably the number two excuse we hear is I'm overwhelmed. We finally got you motivated. We finally got you excited, and now you're overwhelmed. So how do we fix this problem of being overwhelmed? And I want to talk to you about that tonight, because it's something that I've experienced. I guarantee you Bonnie's experienced. Anyone that's ever been successful has experienced this thing called being overwhelmed, and it sucks. Can you agree? Can you throw up another emoji if you agree that being overwhelmed sucks? I don't know about you, but when I'm overwhelmed in my workout, when I feel overwhelmed and just a little anxious about things, I usually don't perform as well because my mind's not there. When I'm overwhelmed in my business, again, I don't perform as well. I had one client recently told me that she's legit working from 6 a.m. till like 12 o'clock at night. And I told her, here's the thing, you may think that you're being productive, but I swear to you, you're not. Because no human can possibly perform that many hours in a day, 5 or 6 days a week. It's just, you may think because of the hours that you're putting in, you may think that you're being incredibly productive, but I'm going to tell you right now that you're actually being counterproductive. That's like going to the gym and working out for 3 hours. Can you imagine trying to do cardio for 3 hours? At some point, you actually go past your peak point and you actually start doing more damage than you do good. And that's the problem with being overwhelmed, is a lot of times we do more damage than we do good. And so tonight, I want to teach you why it's so important to avoid being overwhelmed, but more importantly, how to avoid being overwhelmed. Because when you are, there's good stress and there's bad stress, okay? Good stress means there's pressure put on you to perform, okay? When I played football, when I ran track, when I played basketball, my coaches knew how to put enough pressure on me to perform at my very highest. And when you're 5'9" and white and from Wichita, Kansas, you need to perform at your absolute highest, because that could be the difference between losing by 20 or losing by 40. And I really didn't want to lose by 40, but if I played at my best, we only lost by 20. But my point is, there's a good pressure, and it forces you to come up to the next level. And that's what really great motivators are so good at. Good motivators know how to get you to come up to the next level. But then there's an unhealthy overwhelmed. There's an unhealthy pressure. And the unhealthy pressure is usually when you're putting pressure on yourself to do things you have no business even doing. You have no business doing it. And we're going to go through some of that tonight. And I'm going to help you to clear your brain. I'm going to help you to clear your checklist, because some of you got 35 things on your checklist. And to be honest, you should only have 4 or 5 things on your checklist. Some of you got 75 things on your checklist. And the problem with having too many things on your checklist is many times you actually overlook the things that were actually important to do. Some of you have the right checklist, but you're spending way too much time on the wrong things and not enough time on the right things. My first year in business, I signed up for the John Maxwell team. I knew nothing at all about business. However, I had played in bands. I was the front man, meaning the lead singer for the last band that I was in. So I handled all of our booking. I handled all of our social media marketing. Now, I didn't know anything like I know now. Oh gosh, if only I knew then what I know now, we could have been rock stars, man. We could have been rock stars, but I didn't. But I at least understood the concept of attention. I don't know that I really understood attraction marketing, but I did understand the basically putting yourself out there on a regular basis and painting the picture for other people of, we are these big rock stars, even if we really only played for 20 people tonight. We just took pictures that didn't show the 20 people. It just showed us on stage rocking out, being awesome. I understood social media a little bit, but I did not understand business, and I didn't understand how to become profitable. And so when I signed up for the John Maxwell team, that was my biggest challenge, was what the heck do I do? We had lots of training on the John Maxwell team on how to do our craft. In other words, I know everything there is to know about being a life coach. I know everything there is to know about leadership. I shouldn't say everything, as much as I can know from the training. There's always like millions of new things to learn daily, right? I knew what I needed to know from the training about being a motivational speaker. I knew all of the craft. I knew how to perform, but I did not know how to make money to perform. There's a really big difference, guys. There's a whole lot of rock bands playing tonight in a bar for no money. And then there's a few people playing on huge stages making millions of dollars. There's a really, really, really big difference, right? And so I spent my whole first year trying to figure out, what the frick am I even supposed to be doing? And I was so overwhelmed all the time because I was a podcast junkie. Anybody else podcast junkies? I was a podcast junkie. Lewis Howes, the School of Greatness, was literally like, one of these days, I actually bought tickets to a movie that Lewis Howes helped out with. It's based on one of my favorite books called Think and Grow Rich. They're making a modern movie out of it. I literally donated $1,000 to the movie so that I can go to the Hollywood premiere and hopefully run into Lewis Howes, because he's in the movie. And my hopes is that somehow that 6'4" beast will somehow through the crowd see this 5'9" guy running for him and won't be scared and call for security, and I'll get to like man hug him or something. I don't know. But I listened to all of these podcasts, and every single podcast was just so full of so many great ideas. And I found out about so many other people, like Pat Flynn, who had the smart passive income. There's this whole community of entrepreneurs, and Chalene Johnson is like best friends with all of them. But they have this circle, and what they do is they just trade shows. So, hey, I'll do your show if you do my show, which is really good for them. But let me tell you, is really confusing for the audience. And here's why. Because Pat Flynn has one way he built his business. His stuff is using a lot of landing pages, using stuff like that. Lewis Howes was using LinkedIn at the time. So I went and opened a freaking LinkedIn. Emoji, if you hate LinkedIn, please, where are you at? It's horrible. Most horrible social media platform that has ever been put together, because there is no social and there is no media. I don't even know what to call that, right? It's basically like going to like the Better Business Bureau meetings and everyone's handing out their business card or whatever the heck you go to in your town. It's horrible, right? So I'm getting all of these different ideas. And then I hear, if I remember right, I think I even heard James Wedmore on one of their podcasts, and he's talking about building your business on YouTube. And then someone else is talking about how you have to have a website and get all of your SEO and all. And I kid you not, I felt like my brain was going to explode, because I was trying to do YouTube. I was trying to do a website. I was trying to do email marketing. In other words, I was trying so many things. I wasn't doing anything. Did you hear the difference there? I was trying so many things, I wasn't fully committed to doing anything. If there's one really, really, really valuable lesson I've learned working with so many different top coaches in this network, it's that they all have one thing that they went all in on and figured out. As not just one thing. Obviously, there's 100 different things that they're good at, but they all have like one. It's not like Facebook ads is the only way to be a successful Beachbody coach, or an Instagram is there's several different ways to do it, guys. There's several different ways. But the thing is, at some point, they decided to go all in on the thing they were doing. And really, at the end of the day, they're all doing the same thing in different avenues and different platforms is really what it comes down to. But you have to make the decision to go all in and stop goofing around with 50,000 different things because so-and-so said it was the one thing that killed it for their business. Well, of course they did. That's the product they're selling, right? I mean, come on. If that's the product they're selling, of course it's because it worked for them and it's the one thing that's going to turn your business around, right? But here's the thing. I got so caught up in trying to find the one thing that I wasn't really finding anything. And I was overwhelmed like crazy. And at the end of my first year, I said, okay, here's the deal. Here's what you got to do, Josh. Somehow I was smart enough to realize this, and I don't even know how. I said, you have spent so much time doing almost nothing because you're starting all these different things and never finishing anything. You've got to find a way to come up with the 3 or 4 most important things that you're going to do every single day, and you're going to go all in on them. And so what I decided to go all in on was every single day I was going to post on social media. Every single day I was going to do invites on social media. Every single day I was going to do personal development like crazy. And I was going to stick to my Maxwell training to make sure I had mastered my training and knew exactly what I was doing. Here's the thing. Year 2, I didn't have a website. I didn't even have one, guys. I never even finished it. I said, screw that. I don't need a website to talk to people. I don't need a website to make a sale. I just don't, right? I could send them a PayPal link. You guys can send out the coach, whatever you guys call that. I'm losing my words, but you know what I'm talking about. When you're like, hey, what flavor of Shaco do you want? All this crap, and you send them a link and they sign up. Whatever the frick that's called. I don't use those, obviously. You don't need a website to make sales though, right? And so I said, I don't need a website. I don't have to have a podcast right now. I don't have to have a YouTube channel right now. The only thing I have to do is talk to a lot of people and post on social media so that when I am talking to these people, they know who the heck I am and what the heck I stand for. And other than that, I'm going to do my personal development to keep me and my head right. And I'm going to keep doing my Maxwell training to make sure I know what I'm talking about. That was it. Year 2 was the least stressful year I've ever had in my life. I was detailing cars all day long, coming home and working my business for 2 to 3 hours, having dinner, and then spending the rest of the night with my family. And it was one of the most productive years I've ever had in my life. I kid you not. And actually, I left out some things. I would work all day, come home, I would read my Bible, then I would do my workout, then I would do my kind of like my power hour, which was really like 2 power hours. Then I would spend the rest of the night with my family. I was legit owning life. Now, I wasn't making any money yet, but it only took about 9 months of honing in and focusing on the right things before my business took off. I quit my full-time job and had my first $10,000 month. And that was in year 2. Now, honestly, for a lot of top coaches, they had their first $10,000 a month way before then, but that's probably because they didn't spend their first year dicking around like I did. I was working hard, but like some of you guys listening to this call, I was not doing the right things. For me, I wasn't fortunate enough to have an upline coach who told me what the right things were. I didn't have that. Did you sign up for the John Maxwell team? I was fortunate enough to have a mentor who was a friend of mine on the John Maxwell team. But at the end of the day, he wasn't building a virtual business. The way he built his business was he had a lot of business contacts. And he called them up and said, hey, can I come do leadership training for your company? And they said, sure, Randy, we love you. Come on down. I couldn't do that. Nobody loved me, and no one wanted to pay me money to do leadership training. So I had to hustle. I had to go find people, and I had to add value to them and get them to love me and then get them to buy. Year 2, my business took off. And year 3, it absolutely exploded. I mean, it just went crazy because I kept doing the right things over and over and over and over. And the law of momentum came into full force. And year 3 was another completely overwhelming year, but it was overwhelming because I had so much business. I could hardly handle all of the people that were now coming to me. Here's the beauty of it, guys. This I really, really, really believe is what a lot of you need to hear. Some of you are scared to death of the day that happens. And you're scared to death of going all in because in your head, you're going, yeah, but if I actually go all in, it's almost like this fear of success. There is a fear of failure, but there's also a fear of success. And you're afraid if you do go all in, that things will take off and things will get so busy you won't know how to handle it and your life will fall apart, because that's what happens to all successful people, right? Our lives just fall apart and we become douches and everyone hates our guts, and before you know it, we're freaking Stark from Iron Man who everyone hates, whatever, and we're just these big jerks that lose all character, we lose all integrity, we lose all morals, and we just become terrible people, right? Terrible people that help transform thousands of lives a month. No, I don't think so. You're scared to death of what success will bring. And I'm going to tell you, year 3 was hard. It was really freaking hard. I remember I hosted my first webinar that I was talking about earlier. We had 4,000 people on my very first webinar that I hosted. And we had 700 sales in about 2 weeks. I mean, it was ridiculous. 700 sales in 2 weeks. And at the time, I had just hired my sister and she was working for me like 10 hours a week. I didn't have Beachbody processing orders for me. It was just me and my sister, like 700 orders in 2 weeks, trying to figure out how to email all these people back. We did not have a good system set up, trying to get all 700 people added to Facebook groups. We had 9 different Facebook groups just to keep it from being like too crazy for everyone else, but it made it harder. It sucked. But here's the thing that I need you to know for the sake of the future. Grant Cardone always talks about new problems means new levels of success. It's a good thing. And what I was able to do, if you can't do math, 700 sales, even at the half price that I was giving for the art of recruiting, 700 sales times $100, I made about 70 grand in 2 weeks. I was able to hire a whole lot of help. I was able to tell my sister, you can work as many hours as you want, just get this taken care of. Now, it was still a really rough 2 or 3 months, but I used those 2 or 3 months to then start creating processes. My assistant created processes. I now have 2 assistants plus another guy that's my tech guy that oversees my app, any of that crap that needs changed. Just hired another guy to actually completely rehaul my website. It's going to be super legit. You'll be able to log in on my website and watch any training videos that you've paid for straight from my website. It's going to be amazing. But my point is, when it got to the overwhelm, see, it was overwhelming in the first year because I wasn't doing the right things. It was overwhelming in the 3rd year because I did the right things so well, it took off. But I want you to understand, when you get overwhelmed because you did the right things long enough for it to actually bring success, now you have this whole new world of freedom where you can actually hire people to take things off of your hands, something that I've been screaming at Bonnie about for the last 3 months, so that you do less of the exhausting things and more of the fulfilling things. Which is what I'm doing right now. I've actually spoken. This is the 3rd call that I spoke on today, and it's not exhausting. That's fulfilling. That's the part of this business I love. I absolutely love to speak. I love to motivate. I love to encourage. I love, 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 love to be a push coach. What I freaking hate is answering emails. And that's why I don't answer emails anymore. I apologize if you didn't know that. If you email me through my website, you are not talking to me. You're talking to my sister, okay? It's not me. I got rid of all that stuff. Okay, so I need you to know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, but, you got to follow these 3 steps. If you want to declutter your life, if you want to stop being overwhelmed, I want everyone on this call, my assumption is that 95% of the people on this call are kind of where I was at the end of year 1 in my business, where I wasn't seeing a lot of success. I wasn't seeing any success, to be honest. I wasn't making money, and I felt like I was being underpaid and overworked. Anybody ever felt like that? And it sucks to feel like that, because when you feel underpaid and overworked, you might as well go back to your day job, right? You might as well sell freaking lipstick or wine or whatever the heck else people are wanting to do these days, right? You might as well just do whatever. But I want to help you have what we have, and that is I want you to be overpaid. I never thought I would say that. I never, ever, ever thought I would come to a point in my life where I'm like, I might actually be overpaid. I don't even know if I'm worth this kind of money. Like, I really don't. Like, I hope I am. I hope people appreciate what I do. But sometimes I'm like, should one person even make that much money in a month for what I do? I mean, I just yell at people. Like, how is that a thing that I make this much money to yell and scream at people? I don't know, but it is. But that's what happens when you do the right things. I want to help you reverse this thing, okay? No more snooty comments from your husband about how you make 30 cents an hour based on how much hours you put into your Beachbody business, okay? Let's reverse this. How many of you, come on, throw up an emoji if you say, Josh, I want that life so bad where I do the work that I enjoy and make more money than I can handle. Throw that at me. I'm literally about to hire an accountant to just oversee my finances because I suck at them. I mean, I just straight up suck. I don't do well with money. I don't. Now, I make plenty of it so I can do whatever I want, but I'm not smart with it. But that's okay, because if you make enough of it, you hire people to do the stuff you suck at. How many of you say, Josh, I would love to get to the place in life where I hire people to do the stuff I suck at and I do the stuff I love? Guys, that's what life should look like for every one of us. And it literally breaks my heart. It does. Like, I literally drive down the highway every once in a while. I forget about rush hour because I just like come and go as I please. And I forget, and I stay at the coffee shop too long, and I come home during rush hour. And I literally look around and I'm just like, all of these people are on their way home from something they hate. And now they're stuck in traffic for an hour to get home from something they hate so that they can spend a few hours eating dinner, having a beer, winding down, and wake up and get stuck in traffic to do the same freaking thing. It literally breaks my heart to see people struggle financially, because that was me my whole life. It was me my whole life, guys. I would have to check my bank account before putting gas in my car. And I had a 98 Civic. It didn't take much gas. I could fill up that thing for like $15, and I still straight up would check my bank account before putting in gas because I never even knew if I had $15. I mean, it blows me away that used to be life every freaking day. From age, well, I got married at the age of 19. From the age of 19 till the age of 31, I guess, is when my business probably took off enough that I didn't really look at money anymore. So let's do that for you. Can we do that for you? Can we help you build the same kind of life? Because I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. I don't want you to feel burnt out. I want you to feel fulfilled. I want you to feel productive, and I want you to freaking kill your business, because this thing is about to go crazy. My good friend Mindy Winder said that when Beachbody opened up to Canada, she signed 121 coaches in 1 month. And she is not a big time recruiter. She's not. She has a big, huge downline, makes crap tons of money because she has Micah Folsom, Tara Bialik, Brandy Botts. Yeah, she has all of them under her. She makes a ton of money, but she's not a big recruiter. She probably recruits 5 to 7 coaches a month. When we opened in Canada, she signed 120 coaches. Some of you on this call could literally go 2-star overnight. And you could be Emerald right now. And I'm talking in 1 freaking month. You could go from Emerald, you could sign enough coaches to go Diamond yourself, make your spouse Diamond, and make your mom Diamond. You could be a 2-star Diamond in 1 freaking month. Now, if that's not exciting, like I gotta admit, I'm a little excited, because I'm like, dang, there's gonna be like 25,000, maybe 25 million Beachbody coaches sign up in 1 month. I've got a whole new group of people to target. I'm probably gonna launch some type of Getting Start Right Beachbody training and literally just target all of UK with it because we're going to have so many people signing up. You don't want to miss out on this, guys. This literally could change your life forever. I feel like Beachbody opening in the UK is a similar break that I had when I just happened to sign Brittany Powers as my very first client. Sometimes, guys, luck is on your side. And I personally believe what John Maxwell has taught me, that preparation meets opportunity, that's luck. People think luck is just some like random thing that like the universe throws your way. No, 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 no. Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. Now, here's the thing. There's a big freaking opportunity coming up, and it's going to be the luckiest day of your life because you took advantage of it, or the unluckiest day of your life because you sat and watched everyone else. Preparation meets opportunity. That's what luck is. And every single one of us have fate, the universe, God, whatever you believe in, it's on your side, but it's waiting for you to be prepared. In other words, it's waiting for you to put in the work. When you put in the work, gosh, I'm telling you, freaking magic starts to happen. But it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen this week. It doesn't happen next week. It happens when you show up every day, when you show up every night, ongoing for extended amounts of time. Okay, so I'll finally get to my tips now, I promise. Number one, you must have a daily game plan. You must. So I have a couple training groups that actually come with an app, and in the app, it's kind of hilarious to me how groundbreaking my app is to other people. It's a freaking checklist of what you guys should already be doing every day anyways. I didn't make anything up. I like to think that I'm a creative dude because I used to play music, but in my business, it really takes no creativity at all. It really doesn't, guys. I just give you what you already know in an organized formula that makes you show up and do it. But you know what I hear from people in the 1 week month, which is a group that I have, where the check-ins are very, very, very simple. It's, did you drink your Shaco? Did you do your workout? Did you do your posts? Did you do your convos? Did you do your personal development? That's it. Those 5 things, guys. Do you know what I hear from people at the end of the first week every single month? I kid you not, at the end of the first week, I hear this from almost every person in the group. This is the hardest I've worked in my entire business. Do you know what that tells me? It tells me that 90% of you are not doing the right things. If you want to stop being overwhelmed, you need to have a daily game plan. You need to have some type of checklist that you're working off of. It's got to be some type of thing that this is how I do my business every single day. When I was detailing cars, I was so freaking slow for the first 3 months. And one of the reasons is because I didn't have the routine down yet. So I was constantly thinking, what do I do next? What do I do next? What do I do next? After about 4 or 5 months, I got to the point I could put headphones on and I could detail an entire car, full, complete detail in an hour and a half by myself. I'm talking inside, out, everything, because I got in such a freaking magical routine, my brain no longer needed to work. You see, half of the time you spend on your business is just thinking about, what do I do next? What should I do? And you've got like 20 different pages open on your Safari or Chrome or whatever you've got going. You've got 20 different things and you don't even remember which one you're doing. You don't remember if you're recording a YouTube video or if you were working on your website, or maybe you listened to Shalene's podcast and you decided to finally do a freemium and you've got 75,000 different things that you aren't really doing. Remember this. It's so much better to do a few things really, really, really good than to do a whole lot of things half-ass. You are so much better off to do a few things really, really good. You study any top performer in any sport, in any, whether it's acting, whether it's music, you study the most successful people on the planet. They're really freaking good at 2 or 3 things. Very, and I mean very few people are really, really, really good in several different areas. And if they are, they're usually freaks of nature like LeBron James, who just happens to be 6'9" and 250 and can sprint faster than anyone else. It's not fair, but that's very, very, very few and far between. Most of us just need to be good at a few things and we can be incredibly successful. Okay? Number two. And number two, gosh, this is so hard for me, especially if you're a peacock like me. I don't know how many of you guys know my personality types, but I'll give you a real quick rundown in like 2 minutes. You guys probably know these from some other, whether you know the disc or the jewels, whatever it is. But I'm going to teach you my language real quick because it's way easier and it's better and it's mine. So that's what I'm going to use. Okay. So the rhino is full force ahead. Join me or get out of my way. That might sound a little bit like your leader. I mean, she is just ready to go all the time. And it's like, I'm just going to go. If you want to go with me, that's fine. You're more than welcome to go with me, but I'm not going to sit here for 2 years waiting for you to go with me. I'm going to go. Okay. Peacock, which is what I'm a very strong peacock in social settings. I'm a rhino in my business. It's kind of a weird thing. Peacock says, everybody look at me. I want all the attention. I want all the glory. I want everyone to look at me and laugh at me and like me. Basically, we're hardcore outgoing people pleasers. We love to be in the spotlight, and our philosophy is party now, plan later. And by later, we mean never. We do not plan for anything. We just do everything on a whim because that's the most fun way to do it, right? Then you have golden retrievers, which, by the way, are about 85% of Beachbody coaches, in my opinion. Golden retrievers, very faithful, very loyal, but they do not like the spotlight. They do not want the attention, and they do not want to have to make the decision. Golden retrievers are the opposite of the rhino. The rhino says, join me or get out of my way. The golden retriever says, why can't we just all get along and just be best friends and just hug like forever? Like, can't we just all stay right here and hug? And the rhino is already 7 miles ahead, and the golden retriever is going, but I thought we were all best friends. Can we just hug for a minute? And then you have the owl. The owl is the opposite of the peacock. Loves to color coordinate everything, loves to organize everything. Spreadsheets are like their best friend. Oh gosh, I hate spreadsheets. Their philosophy is plan now, party later. And by later, they mean never. Now, we all have two animals. We all have a primary and a secondary animal, okay? So some of the great Beachbody coaches are rhinos with a mixture of one of the other animals. However, we all have to learn to tap into the necessary animal that it takes to build this business. And I'm just going to go ahead and tell every one of you right now, you're going to have to learn how to tap into your inner rhino. We all have one in there. We all have one in there, and you've got to learn to tap into it. But here's the thing. As a peacock, I'll just tell you right now, I struggle so bad with distractions. That's why I didn't even open the chat, guys. I did not even open the chat because it was going to be in a different window. Now, if it's on the same window, I can kind of handle it. Like I can kind of look over there every once in a while, okay? But if it's in a totally different window or on my phone, guys, I go bananas. And so I've had to learn. It's so hard. But I promise every one of you have struggled with this, even if maybe you're not a peacock like me. Point number 2 is you must avoid the things that aren't on that game plan. Step 1 is write the game plan. Number 2 is if it ain't on the game plan, stay the frick away from it. Stop filling your time, stop filling your head, stop filling your schedule with all these things that aren't even a part of your plan. Now, I want you to imagine for a second that you are like me and you're built really scrawny and you have to work really, 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 really hard to put on pounds. Okay? Now, it's important for all of us to have cardiovascular health, correct? I think that it's good for me to be able to run a mile without passing out. That's a good thing. Even if I'm trying to put on some gains, I should still be able to run a mile, correct? I think so. However, if I'm trying to put on weight and I have a very high metabolism, should I be doing T25? Probably not. Should I be doing Insanity Max 30? Now, some people like my wife will say, well, he says he does lots of push-ups and lots of strength training. If you're not scrawny like me, what you don't realize is push-ups will never make a scrawny dude bigger, ever. Like I can do push-ups all day and night and never put on a single inch in my chest. It won't happen. I have to use heavy weight and lots of calories. It's the only way. So imagine how stupid it would be for me to do Body Beast every morning and then go for a 20-mile run every single night and burn 1,000 calories. Would I not be putting extra stress on my body to make it harder to lift the next day and actually moving backwards because I'm trying to gain weight, and by doing all that cardio, I'm burning a bunch of calories, correct? Do you see how stupid that is? Everybody gets that, right? You guys are doing the same thing in your business. I can't tell you how many people I know who have 2 coaches that are spending more time trying to figure out how to motivate their coaches than they are having conversations with new people to try to recruit more coaches. And I get that question all the time. Josh, can you teach us how to motivate our coaches properly? No, I can't. Because you only have 3 coaches. Chances are you don't even have one that's motivated or wants to be motivated yet. You really need like 10 or 15 coaches, and then maybe there's one who's actually ready to get motivated. And even at that point, if you only have one that's ready to be motivated, should you really put 80% of your time into motivating that one coach? And then, by the way, kill your numbers for the next 6 months trying to figure out how to motivate that person. Meanwhile, by the time you've got that person motivated, you lost the other 7 or 8 coaches you had, and now you just have one coach. And now you're not even an emerald. And I see people doing this over and over and over and over and over. Please, 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 would you just freaking learn from top coaches that one of the keys to success is constantly producing. That's just how life is, guys. There is no time in life where you get to say, you know what? I've recruited some people. I'm good. Now I'll just sit around and just help people. That's what we all want, because we're all being lazy and we don't want to keep working. But at the end of the day, guys, you have to produce. Step 1, I swear I'm going to write a whole freaking book on this, or at least do a podcast on it. Level 1 of leading is always producing. I kid you not, I get messages from Beachbody coaches somewhat regularly that say, hey, Josh, I love what you do, and I just think it's so cool. I've been thinking about joining the John Maxwell team. Could you give me some advice on how to get started? First of all, I tell them, for the sake of integrity, I do not talk to any Beachbody coaches about the John Maxwell team, because I never want it to look like I'm recruiting people from Beachbody to the John Maxwell team. It's just not cool. Not cool at all. But second of all, what I really want to say so bad is you just explained to me how you haven't been successful as a Beachbody coach and that you're basically giving up. And what you're telling me is that you want to give up on one endeavor, assuming that the next endeavor will bring you easier success. What you're really looking for is you see me speak for hundreds, sometimes thousands of people and make thousands of dollars. And you think if you join the John Maxwell team, the same thing will happen. But it won't. It 100% will not happen. Because if you don't know how to produce in one realm, guess what? It was just as much work, if not more, to produce in my realm. You can't be a leader if you can't produce. And producing starts with doing the right things and avoiding the wrong things. Stop trying to figure out how to motivate your coaches, guys. I don't even know specifically how to motivate your coaches. I don't have some magic formula, okay? Do you know what I do? I just show up every day and I do me and I do what I'm best at. And guess what? When you show up 100% with what you have to offer the world, it always motivates people. That'll motivate your coaches. That'll motivate your challengers. That'll motivate everyone in your life. Are there some steps? Are there some principles? Yes. But to be 100% honest, all of the steps and all of the principles you already do in your challenge groups. You already do them. That's why in my training groups, I literally rip off your challenge groups, because you guys are already creating the perfect environment to help someone grow. You want to know how to lead your team? Just run a freaking challenge group and put it around business instead of instead of losing weight. That's it. It's really that simple. Stop overcomplicating this crap. Stop. If I could get one message across to every single one of you tonight, stop overcomplicating this crap. Because it's not that complicated, guys. It's really not. It's the most simple thing ever. It's just not easy because our emotions and our fear are involved. And that leads me to point number 3. This is so important. And it sucks. Can I just go ahead and lead with that? It's important, but it sucks. You're not going to like this one. You liked the first 2. You're like, okay, make a game plan. That's cool. Get rid of the stuff that doesn't, okay, that's cool. But number 3 is a little trickier, okay? I need you to embrace the feeling of being overwhelmed and push through that barrier. Because, let me tell you why. If you actually have a daily game plan, which by the way, I'll give you the magical daily game plan. It's very simple. Okay, be a product of the product. Invite, personal development, and recognition. They gave it to you. They freaking gave you the daily game plan, okay? Now, are there some things that fall under that? Yes. Invites, you obviously have to do some conversations if you want to do some invites. You need to do some social media posts, but I'm just telling you, your to-do list, I mean, literally should be like 5 or 6 things every day. It's not more complicated than that until you get to Bonnie's level and you have 1 million people to watch out for. But you're not, you don't overcomplicate it before you need to overcomplicate it. But when you make up your game plan and when you avoid all of the wrong things, there is still going to be this feeling of overwhelm. And let me explain to you what's really happening. It's not that you're overwhelmed in the sense of there's too much to do. Remember how I talked about good pressure and bad pressure? Bad pressure is when we take on responsibility for things we can't control. You cannot control if your coach decides to peace out and literally disappears off the face of the earth. You can't control it. So stop worrying about if that might happen or if it did happen. Just get over it. Keep doing you. Keep going forward, okay? But when it's something you can control, there is this healthy pressure that brings out the best of every single one of us. I'm talking, if you watch sports, we're talking that superstar that shows up in the last 2 minutes of the 4th quarter and brings their team back to win the ball game. I'm talking about the actor who pulls out the greatest performance of their life in a specific movie. I'm talking under pressure is when moms can pick up cars because their baby is underneath. Is when moms can freaking kick down a front door because the house is on fire. There is this healthy pressure where it literally brings out the absolute best in you. But the problem is we have lived in this life for so long being told to stay comfortable, stay safe, do the right thing. We have been brought up and preconditioned by society to never, ever, ever, ever break through this barrier of familiarity. And here's what's going to happen. And I promise it's happened to you 100 times. And honestly, you've probably backed down. And I hope it's different this next time because I hope that mentally you finally understand what's happening. There is a barrier of familiarity in our subconscious mind. And it is trying so hard to keep us in the place we have allowed ourselves to believe is reality. In other words, if you've been told your entire life that it's not okay to have money, something up here is trying to keep you in that place. Why? Because you trained it to believe that. It's your own fault. I mean, it was my own fault that I thought there was no way I could be successful because I came from a long line of preachers. And the only thing my family's ever done has been preachers. I allowed myself to believe that my entire life. And so I had to break through that barrier. And every single day it was a fight. And I kid you not, there were days where I literally prayed out loud and said, God, if this is the wrong thing, I am so, so, so sorry, but I just have to break through and just find out. And there are going to be times where you think God is trying to get you to back down. You think the universe is sending you signs. You think that destiny is calling you back. And what it really is it's just your subconscious mind trying to pull you back to the place of familiarity. Because that's where you're safe. And that's where you feel okay. And that's where you can relax and watch 8 hours of Netflix every night and never see anything different happen in your life. And this is the number one reason I love mentoring Beachbody coaches. Because even if you haven't seen it in your business yet, I hope that most of you have at least experienced this in your health and fitness journey. And you remember what it was like those first 2 weeks working out with Sean T or Shalene or Sagi or Autumn or whoever your jam is. Those first 2 weeks are freaking brutal. And you want to give up every single day. But you decide, hopefully, like Jillian Michaels says, you will change when the pain of change is worse than the pain of staying the same. In other words, you get to a point, guys, change always hurts. It hurts like hell. It does. But you get to a point where you look in the mirror or you look around at the life that you've created and you realize change is going to hurt like hell, but it can't be any worse than the hell I've already created. And you finally decide to embrace the pain. And you finally decide to embrace that pressure that you feel like is going to crush you. And you finally allow that pressure, instead of crushing you, to actually form you into something brand new. And I've seen it happen in your health and fitness journeys. I've seen what I call when the lights come on. There's literally like a point in your health and fitness journey where the selfies used to look like this. And now they look like, it's like the lights literally come on. It's like a new person has come to life. And if you watch people's transformations and you see their transformation photos, you see it. There's like this magical moment where it's like you pressed play enough days in a row that finally you aren't just working out because you have to. You're working out because you realize the new person you've actually become. And there's this whole new belief. There's this new excitement about the future. There's this new passion that comes. It's like your soul has been awakened. That is the exact same process you go through in your business. There is this emotional, I don't even know how to explain it other than there's like this emotional like bondage is like what it feels like that is literally trying to hold you back. And too many of you have gone all in for just long enough to feel the pressure, and then you back out. And then you get on a call and you go in, and you come out. You go to Summit and you go in, and you never stick with it long enough to actually break through that barrier and have the lights come on. Because the same way it happens on your fitness journey is the same way it happens in your business. There is a day. It's like you're talking to someone one day, and then 6 months later, you talk to that same person and they have this entire new confidence about them, this entire new perspective on life. And sometimes it's not that the finances have necessarily changed. It's just more that the person has changed. And it's never very long until the finances catch up with the person. I've always said since my very first presentation that a whopping 15 people showed up for, that our outward success is an expression of our inward growth. And inward growth happens when you show up every single day. Like John Maxwell says, nothing in your life will change until you change something you do daily. And that's what I need every single one of you to do. I need you to understand when you're feeling overwhelmed, ask yourself, did I make a game plan today? Because if not, that's why. Because my brain is in 75,000 different places. And then ask yourself, okay, I made a game plan, But am I actually sticking to it, or am I distracted by 75 podcasts that are teaching me 35,000 different ways to build my business? And then if you can say to both of those things, if you can say, yes, I made a game plan, and no, I'm not being distracted, then the only thing that's left is the pressure of your subconscious mind trying to get you to cop out. And at that moment, you have to ask yourself, is what I really, 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 really want for me, for my family, worth feeling this kind of pressure on a regular basis for the next 6 months? In other words, am I willing to face my demons for 6 months to have my dream life forever? I thank God I faced those demons at the age of 29. And now I'm sitting here at 33. And I've got 100 years, because I drink Shakeology, I've got 100 years to enjoy my dream life. 98% of America will never face those demons. And they will wake up 60 years from now wishing they had. Well, shoot, they'll wake up a year from now wishing they had. And then again 2 years from now, and again, and it will literally be a cycle that you will live for the rest of your life until you make the decision to break it. And so I'm asking you, will you break it? Will you be the one that pushed through? Will you be the story we're sharing a year from now? Will you be the person who has a success story to share? Will you be the person talking about buying a new car, talking about taking your family on vacation, talking about this new life that you have created, that you are proud of, that you can enjoy for the rest of your life? Will you have what it takes? Only you can decide. And it 100% is a decision. You have to make the decision. This is what I want. This is what I'm getting. There is no plan B. There is no other option. People succeed when they refuse to allow anything else to happen. I had a whole year of failure, and I just said, I don't care. That doesn't make me a failure. I refuse to have anything less than success, and I will have it, and I will do whatever it takes. And I went and I got it. You have to do the same thing. So embrace the pain. Keep showing up every freaking day. Remember what you've learned in your health and fitness program. Go to your breaking point and then keep going. You can do this. I love you guys. I believe in you guys. Thank you so much for having me on the call. I'll turn it back over to you, Bonnie. And if there's, I know you like to close it out with your minute with Bonnie thing, so that's cool. And if we want to have Q&A, that's totally cool too. I'm down for whatever.
Minute with Bonnie thing. I like that. It's like coffee.
You like that?
I pulled this out while you were talking. So this is actually my first ever book that I had in my business, and I got it at Marshall's, or no, TJ Maxx. It still has the tag on it. It was $7.99. And it's like literally, I don't know if you can see, but it's literally like worn to death. Like the pages aren't even connected to the book anymore. Because for the past 3 years, this has been my tool. And I was flipping through it, and I always think there's this weird gap in between a new Beachbody coach who's hit Success Club and then a Beachbody coach who's been a coach for 3 or 6 months. And in that gap, they always do what you were talking about not to do. They always start to think, oh, I got to have a blog. I got to, write copy for my YouTube page and all of this fancy stuff. And it's funny because there's a gap in my book. So in the beginning of my book, I used to just literally write lists of people. You probably can't see it, but lists of people that I was talking to. And then in the middle of my book, there's this section where there's a list of YouTube channel, find hobbies. I don't know what that means. Write blog, 4 blogs a week. It says in parentheses next to it. And then the next couple pages are legitimately blank. This is in the middle of the book. And then this was the part of my business where I was like super struggling. I was at 2-star for the longest time. I wanted to be elite in my first year. didn't make it, missed the goal. And it's right at the part, and I used to date them all, so it's right at the part where I started thinking that it was more complicated than just making lists and talking to people. Then the next year, I went from 2-star to 15-star in a matter of 6 months, and that's when the lists pick back up. And look, they get longer and bigger. And it's literally just lists of names. Like I have lists, I have the names of people who are on this call, people who I was talking to, people who I was in conversations with, and that's it. Like the daily action plan is literally just talking to people, posting about what you're doing, and getting on the calls and drinking Shakeology and doing your workout. Like that's it. But there's this period of time where people start to think it's more complicated than that. But I thought that was a really cool example because I literally did the same thing. Like I'm not immune, everybody does it, but I think it's about recognizing, reeling yourself back in and saying, okay, am I actually doing things that are moving me forward, or am I doing the things that I think need to be done at this higher level to move me forward? Because it's not more complicated than keep talking to people, get them in your groups, keep talking to more people, and keep compounding on that. And that's where people fail. Like everyone's like, how did you succeed and other people didn't? Because I just never stopped coming forward. And the last thing I'll say is I watched the documentary Founder. Have you seen it? About
I've not watched it yet, but I want to. Is it good?
It's good. It's very good. It's about for those of you who haven't seen it, the background of like how McDonald's became McDonald's. And actually the guy who profited from McDonald's was not the McDonald's brothers. They kind of did this mom and pop shop thing, and then he took it over. Didn't have any real skills or knowledge or anything, but he talks constantly about how knowledge is not power. Knowing everything is not power. The only power that we really have is action and persistence over time. And if you just don't stop coming and don't back down, then you will be successful. And he literally, I mean, McDonald's is McDonald's. I hate that that's the example, but it's kind of crazy to think about. Like this guy literally did not know anything about hamburgers, anything about chains, anything about success. Like he literally just never stopped coming. So that's my minute with Bonnie that I but seriously, you guys, and Josh, thank you so much for your time speaking to everybody. I hope that you guys take these calls that inspire you and breathe it into your life after you get off the call. Like, don't get on the calls and say, oh my gosh, I needed this. Thank you so much, Josh. Hashtag let's puke together. And then get off the call and make some tea and go to bed. Like, carry it with you. Remember the fire that you feel when you hear somebody else speaking life into you, and then speak it into yourself in your business, because there's no power in getting on these calls, getting fired up with Josh, and then leaving, right? Take it with you. Find some way to bottle it up and rewatch the call if you have to, but take action right away.
Let's do a giveaway.
Yeah, let's do a little giveaway.
You come up with what you want them to do based on this call tonight, okay? And from that, we'll pick a person to win a free spot in the Art of Recruiting.
Okay.
How's that
do you guys
sound?
hear that?
So what do you want them to do tonight to make sure that they put in action immediately?
So tonight, how about you have to screenshot 10 new conversations that you have tonight before midnight.
Okay.
Whatever time zone you're in, because I'm not going to be a stickler about that. I will start a thread in the team page, and whoever screenshots 10 new conversations that you have tonight before midnight, I'll put your names in a hat and we'll do a drawing.
Beautiful. Let's do one Art of Recruiting, okay? And then we'll do one Let's Puke Together tank top. How's that? So we'll have 2 winners.
Everyone said, oh my God, yes. Love it, Bonnie. Yes, yes, yes. Oh my God, yes.
Because you know they're more excited about the tank top than they are the training group. So one person can win a training group and one person can win a tank top. We'll have 2 different winners.
All right, 2 drawings for everybody on this call. You have to screenshot tonight 10 new conversations. Doesn't matter if they reply, it just matters if you take the initiative and have the action. It has to be a new conversation, can't be a old one. And I will make a thread in the team page and you'll comment them, and then I'll put your names in the hat and pull them out. But seriously, you guys, we will not take up any more of your time. It's 9:15 p.m. on the East Coast. So let's go get after it, you guys. Thank you so much, Josh. We value your time and everything that you had to say to us. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Night, guys.
All right, guys. Bye.